If you guys thought that I was done talking about Bill Maher, especially going into the year 2025, then you quite frankly would be dead wrong. However, I think that to start the new year off, that there being this video coming out on January the 8th, I think that this right here perfectly describes exactly what I've been saying about Bill Maher this entire time. And of course, it's got to do with the word coach.
Often to rewrite like the idea that when someone is born, there is a default setting for humans, male and female. Not everyone is. Now, a real conservative would say, no, everyone is. I would never say that.
But
I think what a liberal says
there are chromosomal
is, yes,
spectrums.
There's a default setting,
hermaphroditism.
but then there's a whole other section, and that's great, and we should protect those people. But don't pretend there isn't also a default.
Before we get started, I want to go ahead and give you guys a bit of a quick update. I said in the 12 o'clock video that there would be 3 videos out on Wednesday. I'm going to scratch that third video for now and just do this one here. The reason why is because I've got to go back to the VA tomorrow, and looking at some updates, it looks to me like maybe, just maybe, it might be a good idea that I save the video that I was working on for a little bit later on in the week because, yeah, the news cycle, once again, you guys know how it is. It's kind of slow to start the year, but then again, at the same time, like I've said before, we've got this Fox Sports Joy Taylor misconduct scandal. Got to leave certain words out that I've been talking about. And of course, I did cover a little bit on that today at 12 o'clock. So make sure you guys go check out that video, link it in the description box. But of course, we got to check in our pal Bill Maher. We talked a lot about Bill Maher in 2023. We talked a lot about him in 2024 and even a little bit in 2022. And I've been saying this entire time that Bill Maher trying to pull the wokest or the far lefties or the people in the bubble back to the center is going to be extremely hard for him to do. More than likely, probably not going to be able to do so. And that right there is what we're going to be talking about in this video here. This right here is just Bill Maher coping with the world that he has helped create. And what subject shall we be talking about to go along with Bill Maher? Well, that's right, Mr. Jon Cryer. Jon Cryer, if you guys ever see this Twitter account, you'll probably puke. The account is that bad. This man has such craze. And I mean, this man has got crazy amounts of Trump derangement syndrome. If you don't know who Jon Cryer is, he's the guy who played on 2.5 Men. This right here was, he played on 2.5 Men all the way to the end of the show. Apparently, him and Charlie Sheen actually got on some bad terms right around the time that Charlie was removed from the show itself. I always think about Jon Cryer. What I think about when I think of Jon Cryer is I think about his role, not in the film 16 Candles as Ducky, but I think about him in the film Hot Shots as the character of Washout, the guy with walleye vision. Yeah, I advise you guys go check that out. Jon Cryer is a perfect example of somebody who lives within the bubble, and that right there is what we're going to be talking about. So, what is the issue? Well, the issue, of course, is Bill Maher trying to explain to somebody who's on the woke left that you need to kind of sort of come back more towards the center. You need to kind of come back towards the middle, or else we're going to lose in the future every single election cycle. Not just to the orange man, which, of course, Jon Cryer hates, but, of course, to the other side in general. So let's take a look at this.
Setting. And you can't rewrite the world so that every baby is just a jump ball. Oh, it could be anything. No, if it's got a dick, it's probably a boy. And if it's
Probably.
not, we'll deal with that.
I understand that Cryer is joking when he says probably, but still at the same time. Probably? Let's watch some more.
People that go through it don't say this is the life I want. No parent wants to be in the midst of those choices. It's
Some
terrifying.
kids these days actually just do want to be trans.
I
It's
don't
cooler,
agree.
John.
I don't
it's
agree.
a thing.
Nope.
Oh,
I don't agree.
come on.
I don't agree with Bill Maher.
I know.
That's the name of the show tonight.
Well, your eyes are not open to that, I
Okay.
think.
Well, okay.
There are some kids,
yeah.
especially, why is it like so much more prevalent like here than Indiana?
Well,
are they suppressing it there? Maybe a little.
Yeah, there's
But
a societal
more, but
suppression, but it's like left-handedism. Being left-handed was suppressed for for thousands of years amongst human beings. But once it was apparently in the 30s, scientists basically said there's no left-handedness doesn't actually do anything bad.
Right.
Left-handedness shot up. People just stopped training themselves to be right-handed. And this has happened societally before, and that's the closest analog that I.
No, his eyes are definitely not open to it. Let me go ahead and tell you guys something really quick about the issue that we're not really supposed to talk about here online. That right there being the issue of transgenderism in kids. Yes, algorithm, I got to say it that way. I remember back in college when I went through the second time, when I went through, after I got my first degree, when I went through the actual university, because my first degree, of course, was an associate's degree that I got at a community college. And, of course, I went to college later in life. I didn't go when everybody else goes when they're 18, 19 years old. I was like 26 years old when I went the first time, and then I was like 31, 32 years old when I went through it the second time to get the extension or get additional education. One of the things that I had noticed the most was that this type of crap here about kids wanting to be, and I feel for the parents that have to go through this. I'm not trying to strike the parents at all, okay? I really and truly am not, so don't think for a second that I'm doing so as somebody who doesn't have kids themselves. If you have kids and you're dealing with the issue that Bill is talking about, I am not attacking you at all. I'm just simply saying what the hell I saw inside the sociology classroom, or the sociology class, the cultural psychology classroom, and of course all the other psychological classes I had to take while I was going to school to be in the sports field, because I still took psychology, and of course the original degree I was supposed to be going for was recreational therapy, but that's not here nor there. This issue was brought up a lot. This is back 2018, 2019. It was all over the place. You even got furries, parents who don't know what to do with their kids because their kids believe that they're a dog, stuff like that there. And I used to think that they were just good old-fashioned trolling. But there was one particular documentary where the kid was, in fact, actually a little boy. He was about 6 or 7 years old, and he was basically acting like a little girl. Now, you could look at the parents. You could say, obviously, somebody screwed up along the way. You could say all that type of stuff there. And I do understand that there is obviously a mental and emotional stigma with that, but you don't fix the problem by going ahead and transitioning them at a very, very young age. You let them grow up a little bit. Matter of fact, statistical studies show that roughly about 80% of these people just ultimately just become gay when they become 18 or they become straight again. 90% of your behavior is learned behavior. This is one of the biggest reasons why it is that I do not believe that people are born with a certain orientation. I believe that people are born obviously male and female, biological sex, but I also believe that people are born a certain way, and of course they learn to be straight or gay as they get older. Some people just have a heavier inclination towards it. I have no scientific facts to back that up, but I'll definitely leave the study about 90% learned behavior. I'm pretty sure you guys, if you go to that there, it will give you a nice good reference point on whether people could be born gay or not. The fact of the matter is that most people learn to be this way through certain actions and certain inactions. That right there, of course, probably might be another video down the road. I may even make a video on that on the third channel, which, of course, the channel is designed to be focused more towards the medium. Spreading things out in 2025, just going ahead and let you guys know one more time. But this conversation does, in fact, intensify, and you do see more and more and more that Mr. Cryer here is not exactly, how do I say, knowing of what's going on around him or what's going on in the world today, and we just basically vote because the mainstream media tells us to vote a certain way. Of course, Bill Maher is trying to bring these people back to reality, but as you guys will see here in a second, it's not exactly working out too well for him. Let's go to the next clip.
About that politics at all.
Well,
I shouldn't, because I really started this podcast to get away from it. So you're right. I kind of fucked up.
Yes.
But I don't know. Sometimes people say things that trigger me. And of course, we just had the election, and I feel like my conscience is very clear. I warned everybody about Trump, and then I warned them about what would get him reelected, which was stupid wokeness, which is what got him reelected. So I feel my conscience is very clear that I told you and I told you and I told you, and I lost fans for it. You know, lots of the super woke that like I'm not woke enough for them. Yeah, but like I think I had it right. Like that kind of stuff is what lost the election for the Democrats. It's in all.
Maybe part of it. I don't know. I think a lot.
They have polling on it.
I think it's inflation. I think Americans hate inflation.
That certainly was
They hate inflation. They hate.
Well, duh, John. Inflation, wokeness, immigration, foreign policy, all that type of stuff there. I mean, you guys will see over the course of the rest of this right here just exactly how clueless Jon Cryer is. People who are clueless about what's going on don't need to be influencing people on how to vote or what type of decisions that they make. Social media absolutely destroyed Hollywood. That's all I'm going to say right now at this moment in time, but let's watch the rest of this.
They hate black women.
They don't
and they hate trans people.
Oh, God, John, we're not going to.
They just spent hundreds of millions of dollars demonizing trans people. And that's disgusting.
Yeah, we shouldn't talk politics.
Okay, we shouldn't. We shouldn't. Great. We don't have to.
Yes, John, you probably shouldn't be talking politics because you just came out here and said that we hate trans people. When in reality, what we're doing is we're trying to save these people from killing themselves. You know, guys, I want to say this right now as a bit of a foreshadowing for the end of the video, which is going to be coming up very, very soon. Because it's actually going to be a relatively short video because I'm trying to shorten my takes. These people have a much, much more internationalist perspective. They have a much, much more internationalist worldview. Whereas people who actually care about America have a more pro-America point of view and not international point of view. I have to reference this guy named Roger Maxson again when he was talking about Obama and the end of Obama, and he was talking about Obama while president. He basically said that Obama had a much more internationalist view. There's a guy on this platform called Kraut who made a video on, I'll try to link that video in the description box too, where he actually explained that leftists have a much, much more, or liberals have a much, much more internationalist worldview altogether. It's the whole blame the America crowd. It's a very, very confusing thing to, how do I say, explain, but of course it's going to require a video essay. That's the truth about these people. They have a much, much more internationalist perspective, which is where their liberalism comes from. However, their liberalism is not a classical liberalism. It's really something that's quite frankly pretty daggone morbid. It's part of the reason why it is that I plan on changing the name of this channel to something like called Nihilistic Moralities or Nihilistic Mendacity, because it really and truly is this extremely strange nihilism that these people have. The truth be told is they're really more along the lines of, as long as the right does not bother me, I don't care what the hell you do, even if a person's gun is literally to somebody else's head. That's how these people operate. It's kind of a sick worldview when you think about it, but Jon Cryer definitely fits the criteria. Let's keep going.
You know, I mean, I have this kind of relationship with people on the right also who like, yeah, it's just going to take so long to even have this discussion.
Mm-hmm.
And I want, just like I would like to deprogram them, I feel like there's things that don't get in your bubble on the left that I would love to deprogram, but it's probably not the place to do it.
Yeah,
but you know,
you can try. if that's how you want to spend your leisure hours.
No, I mean,
deprogramming Ducky.
There's obviously no deprogramming you, and quite frankly, I don't think Ducky was ever this freaking stupid, John. But let's keep going.
I remember one older woman who was very anti-immigration, and I remember she drove me batty. But I feel like I zinged her a couple of times. I was like, "You're an old lady." I think that was the height of my repartee.
Yeah, but who looks stupid now?
Yes,
I mean,
exactly.
No, I mean, I think the whole country, even unless you're like stupid woke, I hope you're not, but you know, it is Hollywood.
Somewhat stupidly woke.
Okay. The whole country was like, I mean, I think the biggest issue for the election, one of the biggest ones, was Democrats pointlessly, totally just punted on immigration and let anybody who wanted to walk in for 3.5 years did. And, you know.
Well, I think they would probably disagree that people walking in probably felt like it was a little harder.
No, actually, there's a great 60 Minutes piece on it where the border, I mean, you don't get 8 million people here by making it difficult. But they just, I mean, you see they're walking through and the border guys are just watching them do it. They're just watching them walk past. You never saw that?
I did not see that.
See, that doesn't get in the liberal media. That's the problem, is the bubbles we live in.
Exactly. It doesn't get through the bubble. This is who these people are. They've been living in said bubble for so daggone long that they've gotten used to the bubble, and they quite frankly don't care about what's outside the bubble. It's called false confidence. It's living in a state of false confidence. Okay, that right there is what this really truly is. Cryer is from New York City. He lives in Los Angeles, I believe, where 2.5 Men was filmed at. I have no idea what the hell he's doing now. He may be back in New York City. I highly doubt it. But, of course, if you're one of these coastal elites, you've been living in an area where there's a lot of people who are a little bit more right of center or right of left or left center that are doing all the hard work. Blue-collar workers bringing you food, all kinds of stuff like that there. Cryer, of course, being a multi-millionaire, he's not going to experience this stuff. And, of course, his worldview is, I really and truly don't care. Let me be what I am. But then they go out there online, and what do? They post their crap out there all over the internet and try to lecture you how to live your life. Bill Maher is trying to bring these people back to some form of sanity, but it doesn't look to me like it's actually working. I've been saying for a while that for the most part, Bill Maher is, in fact, very, very much coping with the world that he's helped create. And I have to always point out that a lot of these very, very far left views come from his own form of liberalism. Of course, he would never tell you this right here. He'd always tell you that he's never been that far left. And for the most part, he never really and truly has been. He's always been more of a secular, liberal comedian type. I never really truly thought it was funny, but he's never been the politically correct type. However, the constant lecturing about somebody or how you should live and stuff, that, for the most part, has come from his brand. He preached every night about this on Real Time with Bill Maher. He's always supported the Democratic Party. He's never really and truly bucked them until they started to buy fully into wokeness. But if you were paying attention, the whole woke stuff in a lot of ways started when Obama was in office. That right there is when they really and truly went out of their way to censor any form of criticism on their Lord and Savior. I said their Lord and Savior, not mine. My Lord and Savior is Jesus Christ. But still, though, the point is this right here. All the censorship, all the cancel culture stuff, this stuff right was happening when Obama was in office, and Bill Maher heavily supported that administration. Donated millions of dollars to it as well, especially his second term. I want to say it's millions. I'm not entirely sure. You guys can fact check me on that in the description box. May just let a mistake fly. But the fact of the matter is, people like, say, Jon Cryer, who's really kind of a C-lister when you think about it, because he doesn't really star in movies nowadays. I think the last thing he was in was, like I said, 2.5 Men. And, of course, there was also all that friction he had with Charlie Sheen. And Charlie Sheen, of course, if he's telling you that you're a douchebag, and this right is a guy who believes that you should be allowed to smoke crack recreationally and be married to 4 women at one time, yeah, I think you've got some serious problems, or maybe you're not that bright. Still, though, at the same time, it's Charlie Sheen. It's a crap bag telling a crap bag he's a crap bag, so who the hell knows? The fact of the matter is that Bill Maher is starting to see the writing on the wall, and the writing on the wall is he's not going to be able to save these people. Now, there are people out there who have been living in this whole liberal nightmare who are beginning to snap back more towards the reality. One of the key examples I like to use is the Young Turks, Anna Kasparian and Cenk Uygur. Let me explain. In Anna Kasparian's case, she's been slowly but surely been pivoting back more towards common sense. Now, she did not vote for Donald Trump in 2024. She did vote for Joe Biden in 2020. She did support Hillary Clinton in 2016, even after Bernie Sanders dropped out, even after that network raised all kinds of hell, saying that Bernie got screwed. She's been forced to live in the environment that she's in, which, by the way, is Southern California, L.A. And she's begun to get a little bit more and more and more red-pilled. Where Cenk, on the other hand, has been supporting progressive causes and the far left for a very, very long time. We're not going to be as easily willing to accept him, especially given the fact that he's not fully changed. He's still very much on the progressive left, but he's trying to get progressives to be a little bit friendlier towards the MAGA types, or MAGA as a whole. I personally don't believe that Cenk Uygur has changed overnight, where it is someone like Anna Kasparian has been red-pilled over time, or it could be the fact that maybe Cenk Uygur is just lying right now. I personally think Cenk is also going through some form of cope as well, but basically the same thing that Cenk Uygur is going through is pretty much the same exact thing that Bill Maher is going through. And that right there is cope, but it's cope more along the lines of, I can't get these people to come back to some form of sanity. At some point in time, Bill, you're going to be too far right for them. Just letting you know that. That's probably going to happen real soon. With that right there being said, guys, make sure you guys please hit the like button, subscribe, share the video, sign off in the comment section. I'll probably have the video, the follow-up video. I'll put it this way here. I'll probably have the follow-up video, the 12 o'clock video tomorrow out on Thursday. And I may go ahead and throw my last 2 takes in on that particular ordeal, the Fox misconduct scandal. I got to say it that way because of the algorithm, but the point is this right here. There's probably going to be more receipts to come from that, but I'll be throwing another take out there soon, so make sure you guys stick around for all that. Please hit the like button, subscribe, share the video, sign off in the comments, and I'll see you guys later.